Very, very keen to chat to you today, Michelle, about your career. We had a chat probably about a couple of weeks ago now about the top money leaks that a lot of dental practices are leaking onto the floor, so to speak. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Ty. So my name's Michelle. I'm from Aligned Business Consulting, and I help dental business owners who are overwhelmed wearing multiple hats, owner, manager, and practitioner, get back to what they love doing, practicing dentistry. So I work with them and their managers to create business management systems bespoke to their practice so they can improve professionally, profitably, and personally as well. My background, I didn't come into dentistry thinking I was going to come into this industry. My husband was a dentist, and I have a banking and finance and commerce degree. When our baby was only 3 weeks old, he came home and said, "Congratulations, you've got a bookkeeper's job." And that was my entry into dentistry, even though we co-owned that practice. And we built that up and we set up systems and we set up a beautiful bespoke new dental practice, a new site, especially for our target market. And Ross got sick in 2012 and we had to sell that. So we sold those profitably in 2015, and I went into employment as, first of all, as a practice manager at a healthcare practice, and later as a practice manager and business manager at an orthodontic practice. And that was in exactly the same position where our practice was like 15 years earlier. Didn't know where any of the money was going, didn't have any systems set up, and there was just money leaking everywhere. So I set that practice up for success, and then saw the same things were still happening. So I thought, you know what? I wanted to do something for myself and something for the dental industry. So I went into consulting to work one-to-one with those practices. And I also host a podcast now, Dental Success Beyond Chairside.
So yeah, the money leaks. So what from your perspective, what is the number? Well, let's start at number one. What's the biggest money leak for?
Well, number one, dentists give discounts to people and they don't realize it. I think, people come in and go, "Oh, nothing against you, but I hate dentists. I'm paying for your holiday, I'm paying for your car." And then dentists are very compassionate. And then they sort of do the price and they think, "Oh gosh, that's a bit much. Oh, we'll just knock a bit off here." And they don't actually realize how much they're adjusting. And I was speaking to another consultant who does recalls. So she's an outsourced recall consultant. And she said that she was looking at dentist's book and he was just doing basically continuing care. He didn't really have a diverse book. And he had given $16,000 of discounts in 1 month.
Whoa.
So that's it. Because and often people don't even know it's a discount. And sometimes you'll say, "Oh, we'll give you a courtesy discount that's done as an adjustment." But sometimes they just cut it down. "Oh, that's $2,000. We'll just take it down to $1,500. And if you're doing that multiple times a week, that's money.
Yeah, that's very easy.
Going like everything. So yeah, so that's quite a significant problem. Another one is treatment conversion. So this is probably the biggest leak I see, particularly in general practice. Specialist practice, obviously, you're only really doing 1 or 2 services mainly. So they recommend treatment, but quite often it might be at the end of a busy consultation and they're running into the next consultation. So they briefly explain it. "Have you got any questions?" Pass it over to the front desk. And the front desk just prints up from the practice management system, "This is the appointment, this is the price, this is the appointment, this is the price. Shall I book it in?" And the person doesn't even sometimes know the journey, they don't know what's involved, they haven't got a full understanding because it's being explained. But when the dentist explains it in the chair and they go, "Have you got any other questions?" they're still processing everything. So they usually say, "Oh." And then by that time, they're passed over to the front desk and then they just go, "Oh, I'll think about it." And that goes into a recall in the practice. But the recall is generally done by reception, who are pretty busy doing other things. And every practice I go into, the recall is always behind. The list is always behind. And a lot of it has got to do with how the receptionist feels. They don't even really know the patient, what's been explained in the chair. So bringing out to say, "Have you considered that treatment?" They do feel a bit salesy and sometimes they feel a bit pushy. And that's only because of the nature of how it's actually occurred. So they put that to the bottom of the list and it sort of stays there. So that, I'll think about it, turns into a silent no because nobody's followed up.
Yeah.
So following is a big thing, and how you actually do that whole patient journey when treatment's recommended. So your recall list is a pot of gold. People think, oh, I'll pay for advertising to try and get a new patient in. I'll do this to try and get a new patient in. But you've already got these patients
Ready to
in there.
a list. Yeah.
Not recommended. And essentially, why would you be wasting money trying to get more people in when you've just got this pot of gold sitting there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
And I guess a lot of it is retention as well, isn't it? I mean, I know from our business perspective, you know, like, sure, we can market, but yeah, a lot of it is just like, okay, who are the clients we have currently, and how can we better serve them, you know? And that tends to be more successful in getting new clients in, right? Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly right, Chai. And that's just it. It's all surrounds about communication. So you talk about retention. So that's what you want in any practice. You want to attract, retain, and get them to refer like-minded people because you like that patient that you're trying to do. So it's surrounded by communication.
Yeah.
And a lot of practices look at, has the patient booked? What's our retention rate? They look at it that way. Has it booked? But what happens at the other end, because it's pretty easy to make a booking, isn't it? You just go, oh, well, I'll see you in 6 months. Do you want to book that now? Okay, yes. So they book it in, and then they get the reminders or, you know, the confirmations, and they go, oh, no, I'm not going to come in, and they cancel it. So we need to the cancellations, not just who's booking in, because quite often at the other end, it's the cancellations. But it all comes back to the communication in the clinic.
The initial.
It's not this.
Yeah.
No, do you know what I mean? So that's the thing as well. So communication surrounding a lot of this is not being enforced with the patient about the importance of coming back, why they need to, their oral health is important. It might have complications in the future for this that potentially could see more money being spent and being in pain. Because they might not be in pain now, so they might not see it, but you need to explain
that's it.
In that way.
And then we understand, like, from a marketing perspective, like full arch implant cases and veneer cases are always going to sell more because you can see it on your face, and you can go,
that's right, cosmetic.
yeah. Whereas a root canal, which might be eating away at the nerve, can't see it, but it doesn't hurt.
Exactly. And if it doesn't hurt, it's just like, oh, well, that's all right.
Yeah.
But they have to have that understanding of potentially what can happen in the future.
Yeah.
So communication is coming into all of this.
Yes. 100%.
Quite often what I see as well, Chai, is that a lot of dentists don't have their book templated. So that means how many new patients, you'll have a certain amount of new patients a week, continuing care, high production. So you have those times aside. And quite often I'll go into a practice and they've got a really good retention attraction. And like this man we spoke about earlier, this dentist, he was just filled with continuing care.
Yeah.
But they recommend restorative stuff, but they've got no room to put it. So you need to make sure that you actually, even if you don't want a template, make sure each day you have high production spaces available to fit in those people, rather than filling everything up with checks and cleans.
Yeah, makes sense. And with dentists obviously being, they go to dental school learning the clinical side. There's the business side and the communication side, which is obviously probably more important in many ways, but it's not taught in dental school. So this is the thing that they have to learn over time, either on the go as they're building their practice or just trying, or they have to go to, you know, someone like yourself, like a coach or you know, learn it outside dental school.
It's so funny. I was talking to my dentist the other day, and I just went in for my routine check. And he was talking about, you know, Michelle, as dentists, they're very detailed, they're very analytical. She goes, and we sort of over-explain. And my analogy is the destination and the plane. And I heard this from Ashley. They're actually in the UK.
Right.
And I just loved it. It's the best analogy ever. So you ring up a travel agent and you go, I want sun, sea, and just somewhere else to relax. Anywhere, I don't care where I go. So the travel agent rings you back and the travel agent says, "Oh my gosh, Michelle, I have just found the perfect place for you to go. The plane that's taking you there can see this many people, it goes this altitude, it goes on this flight path." They talk about the system before they talk about the outcome or the destination. So sometimes patients, they're just like, I don't even understand how that's going to benefit me, because they're just going into such detail about the clinical concern that
Really
they
good
can
point.
see.
Yeah, I love that. So from my perspective, the money leak's obviously a little bit different, but it's I find that kind of teleprompting videos can make the dentist come across disingenuine, which the big thing with videos is authenticity, right? You need to a little bit of ands and ums and ahs are fine, because that can be cut out, but if it's coming from your head, it's going to be more likely to be empathetic and real. So to me, that's probably the biggest opportunity for a lot of dentists is, okay, have your dot points, throw it away, give it a go, and just answer some questions to camera. See what comes out, then it can get edited up, and you'll find that versus a perfectly scripted, let's read word for word, is so much better. Obviously, one's a bit.
I agree entirely, yeah. Because attracting new patients as well, Ty, is they do a lot of research before they've even come to you, particularly at millennials. And as we're talking about cosmetic treatments earlier, so they would have researched, they would have been speaking to people, they would have been on asking friends, family, whatever. Then they would have potentially heard about your practice. So then they'll go to your website, potentially have a look at that. And then they'll go to their socials to see if they can get a connection with you. And the millennials and the Gen Zers, they're like quick. Videos are perfect. Those reels, they like to watch them. So being able to see it and see if you can actually get a connection with the dentist. And as you said, if you have a scripted, "Hello, my name is Michelle from Aligned Business Consulting," because you're reading from a teleprompter, rather than answering questions like you said, like getting that connection is very important.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, thanks so much for that, Michelle. Really appreciate it. Lots of value there. And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch with yourself?
Yes, they can just go to my website, which is alignedbusinessconsulting.com.au. There's all my contacts there. There's links to all YouTube, LinkedIn. I do put a lot of education on LinkedIn, also to my podcast as well. So the current podcast is actually on. I'm not sure when this is going out, but obviously we are in the end of June, the end of financial year now. So the current series is on communication. So if some of the dentists want to listen to that, they're only 20 minutes long, nice and short like yours. So they're easy to listen to, and they can just double speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty short time. So so thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Really, it's been great. And we'll chat soon.